Appreciate those on the YouTube chat for letting us know.
Yeah, I think we're green now.
Okay,
so
back up in green.
Let us know if we're not.
Yeah, if you're on that YouTube chat, make sure to let us know. We appreciate the update. But if you missed the intro, got a lot to cover on a Friday, and we'll kick things off with Paul Feinbaum and what he had to say about Josh Heupel and this Tennessee football program, as the expectations for Tennessee football are kind of all over the place right now. But some think the Vols could be in the hunt for the college football playoff. Others, like me, a realist, believe that 7-5, 8-4 is more the neck of the woods that Tennessee will end up in. But the SEC networks and ESPN's Paul Feinbaum has a more pessimistic view of Tennessee. During an appearance on Crane and Cone, he shared why he's a bit worried about the direction of Josh Heupel's offense and the program heading into the 2026 season. This is what he had to say. Quote, "I bring up Josh Heupel. I like him. He has made the playoffs one time, but he's been there, 4 to 5 years?" Feinbaum said. Quote, "And it feels like the program is going in the wrong direction. That should not happen. And it's a very bad sign for a name brand program. Maybe I'm old school enough to still believe that Tennessee is one of those schools that should always be at or near the top." He later went on to say, quote, "But the end of last season was a complete disaster, losing at home to Oklahoma, and they also lost at home to Vanderbilt. Badly lost a bowl game. You can't let that happen. And then they got some bad luck in court, losing Aguilar, but they don't have a quarterback. And you guys all tell me how you can win the SEC without a quarterback." And Feinbaum's comments are pretty strong. Some of them I agree with. Some of them I think are a little too far-fetched, but that's why we're here to talk about it. And I think for Feinbaum, considering he's a Tennessee graduate as well, he's covered Tennessee a good bit, keeps a firm pulse on the program. I think he shares some of the more broader complaints about Josh Heupel in the sense of, well, you've been here 5 years. You've only made one playoff appearance. You've been in the hunt probably 3 out of those 5 years, which is good, but only one appearance, and that one appearance ended up being a blowout at Ohio State, a game in which, heading into it, a lot of people believe Tennessee could go and upset the Buckeyes in the shoe. Obviously, you were competitive in 2022, but you lose to South Carolina at the end of the season, and that then derails an opportunity to go to the college football playoff. And then last year, you had your opportunities as well in a 12-team format to make it once again, but you drop a home game against Oklahoma, and you drop a home game against Vanderbilt. So I understand the precipice of where he's coming from there. In a more broader sense, you'd like to make the college football playoff at the University of Tennessee a little bit more often if you're always kind of in contention. But for this upcoming year, I share the same sentiment of, well, you don't really have a quarterback. I know George McIntyre was a highly recruited 4-star. I know Faison Brandon is set to excite a lot of people here in the future. But my main concern is, well, young quarterbacks don't necessarily win right now in college football, especially if you look at the teams that were in the playoff. Most of them had started multiple seasons or were in their third year or more. In the case of like a Carson Beck, it was year 5. So I understand those parts to it, but I also think he's a little extreme in saying that the program is moving in the wrong direction. Because I think Josh Heupel has now set a standard in this modern era of Tennessee football of, we're going to be a competitive team, we're going to be in the hunt for the college football playoff, and we're going to be nationally ranked every year I'm here. And before Josh Heupel arrived, that wasn't the case. With Jeremy Pruitt, it was a disaster. The end of the Butch Jones tenure was, for the most part, a disaster. You had a fun 2016 season, immensely talented, but don't have any playoff appearances or trophies to showcase for it. So I know Tennessee as a brand long-term is one of the best in college football. But before Josh Heupel arrived, you were not meeting those expectations. So I disagree with Feinbaum in saying that they're moving in the wrong direction. I think Heupel has put Tennessee back on the map in terms of the right trajectory, and you'd like to make the college football playoff. I don't think that is going to be this year, but I think he's done a better job than a lot of people anticipated when he came over from Central Florida, which is not a powerhouse program, and in some people's eyes is kind of a gimmick thing. Like, Alex Golish going to Auburn. Well, he had one really good season at South Florida this past year, and they still didn't make the American Championship. Outside of that, it was 6 and 7 win seasons. I think that's kind of a gimmick hire, but maybe he ends up being a success. But I think Heupel's exceeded the expectations of when he arrived here, and he has consistently had Tennessee in the mix. And I think for that, you have to consider him doing a good job for what you had before. So,
but is he talking about his whole tenure, or is he talking about current day Tennessee? Because we're in year 6 of Heupel. At some point, we got to stop talking about what he did 6 years ago and where we are currently right now as a program. Because 2024, people want to talk about how weak the schedule was. Last year was a disaster. I know we had the whole Nico situation. Aguilar, he did what he could. And then you address some needs defensively, maybe. We don't know. But expectations are, 7. I mean, under 7.5 this year for wins. Is that really going in the right direction? Off a playoff you were in 24, just 2 years removed from that.
Well, 2 rebuttals to that. First off, like Georgia and Texas, their win totals are 9.5? Yeah. Am I correct on that?
Yes.
And those are considered the 2 best teams in the SEC currently. Those are only two games ahead of you,
right?
In terms of those projections. And Tennessee is not going to have a roster or a team that matches one of Texas. So I think you have to think about it in that way. This is an SEC 9-game schedule. There are a lot of teams that are not going to meet those expectations and are going to be below their win totals. But Tennessee at 7.5 in years past would be low. But again, you have to keep in mind, it's not 8.5 this year, because instead of playing Taco Bell Tech, you've got to now go to South Carolina on the road or playing Arkansas on the road. So now it just throws in another game that is kind of a toss-up. So I think the win total is a little bit skewed in years past because of the schedule you got this year. But also, let me say this. He has set an expectation here and a standard of making the college football playoff. When he arrived on campus, there wasn't much of that. Jerry Pruitt was a disaster. The end of the Butch Jones tenure was a disaster. Hell, you almost hired Greg Schiano. Does Tennessee make a hire like that now? No. Because you'd hope if Josh Heupel were to leave, you'd go for another big name. And not that Heupel was a big name when you hired him, but you'd probably go after a big fish because you've set the program standard back to what it was when a lot of us, at least I wasn't born, but a lot of people remember as the glory days. So I think you have to contextualize it that way as well. But I'll get you guys' opinion on it. Brett, beginning with you, do you agree with what Feinbaum is saying here?
Yeah, because I kind of hinted at it when I asked you the question. I mean, you're 2 years removed from a playoff team. You should be, you should be in the playoff discussion, from then on, from 22 on, like I get kind of tired about hearing about the narrative of where we were as a program. And now in the day and age, it's really one year from the next is got to be different. I mean, we see how fast things can turn around. I don't want to keep going to Indiana, but they're the prime example of how quickly you can get to a national championship. Now, say you want about the Big Ten, that schedule and things like that, but I think for me, the expectation should be better than as tough as the schedule is. Like, we're talking about losing 3 games possibly at home this year. That's not Tennessee football. And in the Heupel era, like Heupel doesn't lose games at home. Now we're talking about losing all our didn't have a quality win last year, and we're talking about not having one this year. Like, that's the expectation for Tennessee football is not going in the right direction right now. And I kind of agree with Feinbaum. I appreciate what Heupel's done. There's no doubt about that. The double-digit wins, but you're going from 10 wins down to 8, and now you're talking about 7, possibly a 6-6 season. Now we don't know what it could be. It could be better, it could be worse, but with a young quarterback and the unknown of that, and like it's trending, the wrong way. And honestly, people are more excited about this basketball team than they are about football. We hardly talk about it. It takes stuff like this to even talk about the football program right now. So that should tell you where it's trending as well. And that's the next sport. I know we're playing baseball, but that's the next sport that's up. And, it's about Danny District. It's about everything but football right now. And so I think that as well adds to it a little bit in my mind. And I think we're kind of, trending in the wrong direction, if I'm being honest.
Garrett, to you, your thoughts on what Paul Feinbaum has to say.
I think he's correct to an extent, but I think you have to look at this season of more as a gap year. You're either going to be starting a quarterback that's a true freshman that's going to be 18 years old, or you're going to be starting a quarterback that's never started, a college football game at the SEC level in McIntyre. So I think obviously what Heupel's done is he's elevated, the floor and the ceiling from when he's came here. I mean, obviously this is a lot better than the Derek Dooley and the Pruitt and the Butch Jones days, but at the same time, I understand expectations change. But I mean, this was an odd year. You go out and you tried to attack after Levitt in the transfer portal. You didn't get him. Your starting quarterback last year, you thought maybe you have a 50-50 chance of coming back this season. So you maybe don't want to fully go out and get a quarterback, because then if Aguilar gets ruled eligible, then what are you going to do? Is he just going to sit? So now you're kind of stuck in where you're going to be starting a young quarterback. I think this year is going to be a gap year. I don't think your expectations can be extremely high. But then I think you look at 2027 of year two of the defense. You're going to bring in probably more defensive transfers after this year. Your wide receiver room in 2027 is still going to be pretty intact. You're going to have a quarterback that's going to be able to go out and perform better than this season. I just think that 2027 is when you're going to be able to look at it more. I just think that 2027, looking at it right now, should be a college football playoff team, and this year is going to be more of a gap year because of the quarterback room that you have.
I could get around with that, and I would also add in, I think 2027 could be the make or break year for Josh Heupel. If you don't make the college football playoff that season,
especially if it might expand, and then we're having a whole other conversation too. Even if it goes to 16.
Well, if it were to expand, I think we'd be having different conversations. Yeah. But I think 2027 is, at least in my eyes, is setting up to be the make or break year for Heupel. I think there are going to be some growing pains this year because of the quarterback situation, and that's something that Feinbaum highlighted, talking about, you guys tell me, if you don't have an SEC quarterback, you're not going to win games in the SEC. And obviously Tennessee went after the likes of Sam Levitt out of Arizona State, ended up transferring to LSU. There was some talk early on about Brendan Sorsby. Maybe the Vols could have taken a gamble on him, but obviously he had his own gambling concerns. And then there was the Ty Simpson talk, trying to get him to enter the portal. He decides to go to the NFL, and then you're kind of out of options. And there were a couple of names early on that we discussed, like a Colton Joseph out of Old Dominion, went to Wisconsin.
Well, that was for us, right?
I'm talking about for us. All these are about for us.
Yeah.
And then even a Caden Hauser out of Eastern Carolina. He went to Michigan State. Illinois. He was originally at Michigan State. But guys like that you had on your radar, but you decided to go for the big fish, and you don't end up landing a Sam Levitt. And now you're stuck with a redshirt freshman, a freshman, and a guy named Ryan Staub. So I think it is going to be a big issue. I think the offensive line is what going to dictate
this is a playoff team outside the quarterback.
I would agree.
100%.
I would agree.
That's the frustrating
But what's the
part,
most
too.
important position?
Absolutely.
It's quarterback, right? I mean, look in the NFL. There are a lot of, everyone in the NFL is a really good football player. Mm-hmm. But the teams that succeed are the ones that have elite quarterback play and, usually a really good defense. I think Tennessee could have a really good defense this year. And that's going to be able to win them some games, especially if they have a good line.
Keep them in games.
Keep them in games. But you got to have a good line of scrimmage. You got to have a running back game. And I think you have that for the most part. We'll see about the offensive line this year. A couple of changes, but that quarterback position is so key because those are the ones that can make the plays down the stretch of the fourth quarter, those tight throws, whatever it may be. And I just don't know if you have that right now with two guys that lack experience. Now, look, I will be the first to tell you, if it happens this year, I will put the hand up and say I was wrong, and I'm going to celebrate it. I don't want Tennessee to be bad. That was kind of
people said they didn't want you jumping on.
Well, they said, don't jump on the bandwagon earlier this week. That's not the thing, folks. It's just, this is an argument based off of a lot of data. And outside of a Julian Sand, who, keep in mind, was at Alabama when Nick Saban was still there, he was the only freshman quarterback this year to take his team to the college football playoff and have success throughout the year against credible teams. Bryce Underwood, 5-star, Michigan didn't beat a team with a pulse this year. Dylan Raiola, 2-year starter for Nebraska. There's a reason why he's redshirting in Oregon this upcoming season. It's just examples like that to where these guys are fascinating in the high school ranks. Faison Brandon will be a really good quarterback. I think George McIntyre has the potential to be as well, but not in year one. Not at 19, not at 18. You got to have a 2 in front of your name and probably a 1 or a 3, 1, 2, or 3 after. Garrett, to you, how big of a deal is the quarterback situation? Am I just continuing to hammer this narrative just because I want to?
No, I think it's a big deal. I mean, I think you can play probably pretty similar to the way you did in 2024. I struggle to think that the defense is going to be that good in year one because we know that this defense might take a couple of years to nail down. But you saw in 2024, now the schedule was weaker, obviously, but you beat Alabama, you beat Florida by, Nico, he wasn't the best quarterback in the world, but he didn't really, turn the ball over a ton. I think that's going to be the main thing that you're going to have in this quarterback room is they don't have to make the incredible downfield throws and win you football games like that. They just can't lose you football games by throwing brain-dead interceptions that are going to lose you football games in the first half. Or, when you have a 2-minute drill at the end of the game and you got to go down and get a field goal throwing an interception. Those are the plays that you can't have a freshman quarterback make. But unfortunately, when you have a freshman quarterback, those are probably going to happen from time to time throughout the season. So I think you're going to play similar to 2024 defensively, and you're just going to hope that your quarterback can get the ball to your playmakers because you have a ton of playmakers. You have a very good running back room. You have a really good wide receiver room. You have a solid offensive line. You have the pieces around you outside of quarterback to have a good offense. So you just can't try and make the hero plays and get intercepted 2-3 times a game. You saw Lagway last year. It was the LSU game. He threw 4 or 5 interceptions.
Yeah.
Those are games that you just cannot have from your starting quarterback at any level, especially when you're already behind the 8 ball.
DJ Lagway, another example of a fascinating 5-star, played sparingly in the year prior before starting last year. Now, I think system dictates a lot of it too. Billy Napier making Lagway throw 49 times on the road at night against LSU was probably not something I would have done, but and I think Josh Heupel has a hand.
Especially when it's 10-3, right? Or something. It's your defense playing unbelievable.
And you got Jaden Ball in the backfield and one of the best centers in the country. But again, there's a reason why he's now at JMU. But that's something that you have to have some confidence in with Josh Heupel, that he's not going to put a said quarterback, a McIntyre or a Brandon, in that type of spot. But again, you're going to have to go through some growing pains. I do want to touch on one thing here in a moment, but Brett, want to give you the opportunity to weigh in on this as well. Do you believe it's going to be as big of an issue as I've been discussing for a couple of months now?
100%. I really do. I mean, I was one of those. Just go ahead and get that. I think with what you were already doing in the portal, bringing in these defensive guys, hiring Knowles and things like that, I think that was always going to be all right. I wish we would have ironed out day one. Again, I hate to go to Indiana, but they had Hoover first day, boom, done, and then they filled out the rest of their roster. We just spent so much time trying to get the big fish when we could have had a medium-sized fish, and we'd be feeling unbelievable right now.
Sure.
A lot of these games we're on the fence about is because of the quarterback. Now, some of these teams we're on the fence about, kind of similar, like Alabama in similar situation, Kentucky, things like that. So, the proof's in the pudding as far as in this day and age of college football. It's more prevalent than any other sport, even professional. The quarterback's the position in college football. And if you don't have it, you're going to struggle. And I don't care how good your defense is and stuff like that. We're certainly not going to get away like we did in 24, having 3 games we didn't score in the first half and staying in football games and things like that. We're playing really good offenses. And then, like I said yesterday, the defense is on our schedule. Some of the teams are really good defensively, we're going to have a hard time. It's just going to be, a big time growing pains. I think the schedule in 27, just going to that, is much easier than this one. So if you can establish some sort of quarterback play going into 27, you're going to feel 100 times better. It's just, how bad is 26? And like I said, for me, Heupel's on the hot seat. I think there's not really excuse to be in year 6 and not have a quarterback.
Sure. Let me propose this question to you guys and the folks at home. When Tennessee's offense has had the most success under Josh Heupel, what has been the common thread? So go down the 2021, 22, all the way up to this year. When has the offense had the most success? To me, It's when you've had a guy that is accurate down the field on the long ball. 2021, Joe Milton had a cannon of an arm, but he wasn't really accurate with it. 2022, Hendon Hooker was nails, about a 75% guy. You get a downfield play, he was hitting you in stride and making that throw. 23, Joe Milton, he had a cannon. He could do it.
Overthrow Joe.
But it would be 75 yards down the field when the receiver's 65, right? 2024, a year that Tennessee had to lean on their defense and Dylan Sampson. Well, Nico was not good down the field. That was one of the big reasons why Tennessee could not get over the hump that year, because you just could not complete downfield passes. Now, the offense last year was much better than what we saw in 2024. There were a lot of changes. There were some new formations, but Joey Aguilar was pretty damn good down the field too. And that accuracy on those downfield throws is kind of what this offense is predicated on. You want to lull the defense to sleep by giving a couple of RPOs and runs and bringing them in, and you want to be able to hit them deep down the field. But if you don't have a quarterback that can deliver on those throws, you're not going to have that type of success. So regardless of what you think of my opinion of the quarterback spot for Tennessee right now, the lack of experience and what we've seen from other places, you got to ask yourself this. Is Faison Brandon or George McIntyre, are they going to be able to deliver the ball down the field at an efficient rate? I think for them, you've got to be a 40 to 50% guy. Nico was like a 15 to 20. Milton was like a 25. Hooker was a 75, and I'd say Aguilar was a 60% guy. When you've had downfield threats and accuracy down the field, that's when the offense has thrived the most. Regardless of what you think of what I think you have to ask yourself, do you think George McIntyre or Faison Brandon are able to get the ball down the field at an efficient rate? And that's going to dictate how good the offense is.
Do you think he changes? Do you think the young quarterbacks can play with tempo the way Heupel does? Like, is that going to be too much in a stadium environment and different things like that? Or do you see a scenario where, hey, maybe we huddle up, or do you think, not so much huddle up, and we still use tempo from time to time. Like, maybe we're not in a huddle, but like we're looking at the sideline, things like that. But I just wonder if he's going to have to slow things down even more with two young quarterbacks that are trying to hear in the headset, different things like that. Offensive line, there's a lot going on for a young quarterback too. I think that's where experience comes in as well in these scenarios, especially in a Heupel offense.
Yeah, I don't anticipate Heupel slowing things down. I think this is just how you go. Yeah. And I think the benefit you get with starting Brandon would be he's more of a dual threat guy, so you can run a lot more RPOs with him and have him trickle out outside the tackle box and pick up 6 to 7 yards.
True, yeah.
McIntyre, I know he's been working on it, but it's not necessarily something he was gifted. He did it in high school, right, at Brentwood Academy. But Brentwood Academy's competition is not.
They're at Ole Miss, right?
They're at Ole Miss. They're about to go through Rush here in a couple of weeks. It's not Colin Simmons coming off the edge at 6'4".
Yeah.
So I think and again, I'm a Brandon guy because I believe whoever your starter is on September 5th against Furman, that should be your starter for the next 2 to 3 years. That's because I think you're wasting this season if you don't start the guy that you believe is going to be.
So you don't see both of them playing.
I think both of them will play.
I'm not talking about like hopefully you're up Furman. I'm talking about like live versus another top team or whatever.
I don't think you're going to see the 2 possessions, 1 possession type of thing. I don't think that works.
So you don't see a scenario where it's like, unless it's stale, right? And it's not moving.
You got to have a starting quarterback nailed down for Georgia Tech. I know that's week 2, but like you can't go out against Georgia Tech. I know they're not going to be as good as last year, but you can't be having 2 quarterbacks playing like equal amount of snaps in a non-conference game that you could easily lose on the road.
Against Furman, whoever starts will get that half, and then the other guy will get the second half or the third quarter, whatever it may be. But my philosophy is play one guy and ride it out with him.
Because you get 9 games now to play through that redshirt thing, I believe, or it was at one point.
Well, they didn't go through with that.
Oh,
but,
they didn't? Okay.
I thought they did. And my thing is, like, you have all off season to figure out who your best guy is. Like,
do you see a scenario where one guy's that way ahead of the other? I can't see it.
I think it'll be neck and neck. But I think if you're Josh Heupel, you've seen a lot of quarterbacks, right? You've seen the Dylan Gabriels, you've seen the Hendon Hookers, to the Joe Miltons. You've seen everything.
Yeah.
I think you can tell after from January on. You've got 9 months to figure out who your better quarterback is. I feel like they're going to be able to decipher that. And if it's George McIntyre, congrats to him.
Yeah.
I just think you have more opportunities with Brandon because he's more of a dual threat guy.
And he has the higher ceiling, would you say?
And I agree he has a higher ceiling. But who knows? It's not all based off of 5-star numbers. There are plenty of 5 stars.
You're not a 5-star anymore.
Correct.
When you get in the SEC.
Correct.
You're a no star.
Correct.
You
one of the guys.
You earn that star again.
Correct.
So there's no such thing.
Correct. So Tennessee right now on FanDuel, betting odds sit at 7.5 for the win total. That's a 1-win boost as opposed to the start of spring camp, which was at 6.5. But again, that number is a little bit skewed from years past. I know you're used to seeing an 8.5 or a 9.5, but you add that extra SEC game in, makes it a little bit more difficult. Got to go on the road to a South Carolina and Arkansas. Those are tough environments and have been for Tennessee in years past. But I think 8 wins is achievable, and it'd be kind of the same thing as you did last year. You win the games you're supposed to, you lose the tough ones. And I think that's a good season in year one for a new quarterback. That means, hey, you get through this season, you continue to develop in the offseason, and next year you can win those games and go be a 10-2 team. Make a college football playoff. I just don't see it happening this year. But again, I'm happy to admit I'm wrong if it does occur. There's no bandwagon. I'm a commentator.
You can steal a home game. You can steal a win against LSU or Alabama. You beat Alabama the last 2 times at home. And I would argue 2024, you were probably not even as good as they were.
No. I think that LSU game could be interesting too. Late in the season, that's when upsets brew, especially if you got a team that's kind of hungry, and Tennessee very well could be that hungry team.
Hungry with 5 losses?
Well, but hungry of
4 losses.
But I think there's a difference of like this past year, right? Joey Aguilar was your quarterback. He wasn't going to get another season most likely. If you're a young quarterback, you've still got a ton to prove. Hey, go get a big win under your belt.
Especially if LSU, you can knock them out of the CFP if you beat them. Like, that's something to play for.
I think
that's what Florida did against Ole Miss a couple years ago.
Even if Tennessee is a 4-loss team hosting LSU in November, I still think that's a big game. Like, I think that's going to be the ABC night game. And I said it earlier this week. Oklahoma, Alabama was the night game. Oklahoma was pitiful, but their defense was really good, and they had some things go their way. Those are the type of games where things could get interesting. I think that could be one for Tennessee this year. When we come back, we'll flip over to the hardwood. Juke Harris joined Mike Keith on the Mike Keith Show on Thursday and talked about his recruitment to Rocky Top and what he is set to bring to the table. Some Vols fans are going to like a couple of these quotes. We'll discuss when we return right here on the Playbook.
For the fans, by the fans. This is Fan Run Radio, Knoxville.
What kind of day is it? It's a White Claw day. Grab a pack, grab your friends. Everything else in life can wait. Your friends shouldn't. Let's go. White Claw. Grab life by the claw. Please drink responsibly. Hard seltzer with flavors. White Claw Seltzer Works, Chicago, Illinois.
Vol fans, reimagine your home at Broadway Carpets and Flooring for any remodeling or building needs. With a variety of carpets, rugs, hardwood, vinyl, and stone, Broadway has all the flooring and installation options you're looking for, including pet-resistant products like Pet Perfect Carpet from Shaw Floors. Visit their showroom in downtown Knoxville or the location in West Knoxville located on Kingston Pike near Pellissippi Parkway today.
A brand built in Tennessee and born from the love of the game, Inward Half revolutionizes golfing comfort. Crafted by a former pro and dedicated enthusiast just like you, our luxury performance wear guarantees you stay cool and comfortable through every swing and every day. We're not just a brand. We've set out to create a lifestyle for those who understand that impeccable style and premium performance are a hole-in-one. Enjoy the walk-in with Inward Half.
Smoky Mountain Brewery is the place to be for game day. From the moment you walk in, it's wall-to-wall big screens, making Smoky Mountain Brewery the perfect place to watch the Vols or your favorite team in action. With locations in Turkey Creek, Maryville, Pigeon Forge, and Gatlinburg, you're never far away from a great time at Smoky Mountain Brewery. Try one of their world-famous microbrews like Black Bear Ale, Mountain Light, or Cherokee Ale. Juicy burgers, wings that bring the heat, and delicious handmade pizzas made with hand-tossed crust from the freshest ingredients and their own special sauce from a secret recipe, topped off with hand-grated cheese and farm-fresh toppings. And don't forget, those famous microbrews are also available in kegs for your next party or in 6-packs and growlers to go. So grab your crew and head to Smoky Mountain Brewery and tell them Fan Run Radio sent you. Smoky Mountain Brewery. Eat local, eat good.
The voluntary reaction.
Can't get enough Tennessee basketball? Join Fan Run Radio as soon as every UT game is over for Big Orange Country's post-game radio free-for-all. The voluntary reaction. We'll be taking your calls on the Vols as soon as every game is over. So tune in and buckle up as we drink from the keg of glory all the way to the Final Four.
The voluntary reaction. Raw, unfiltered, real.
All right, back here on the Playbook. We appreciate you hanging out with us on this fine Friday from Knoxville, Tennessee. Man, this week has flown by. Good weather out today, too. Went to the gas station earlier to get a prosciutto rolled.
Gas station?
Yeah.
Food?
Well, just they're in the
Oh, it's plastic containers or
it's a cheese, string cheese and prosciutto rolled.
Oh,
one of
okay.
those things is already packaged.
Oh, okay.
I don't eat gas station.
Okay,
food.
I didn't know if you ordered a sandwich or something.
No.
Oh, okay.
No, heavens no. But I need a little snack, and that prosciutto string cheese was calling my name.
I did see. I think the weather people said it was like around here or like between Nashville and Memphis was supposed to be like the nicest day like anywhere. Just
Anywhere in the country?
Yeah.
Right here in Knoxville.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Talking to Garrett, he's going down the game, so it's going to be
good day for
a
it.
good day for it.
We'll talk about that Tennessee baseball matchup in hour 2. But before we get to that, let's discuss what Juke Harris, new Tennessee signee and Wake Forest transfer wing, had to say on the Mike Keith show on Thursday. And he discussed a plethora of things, including how Rick Barnes recruited him to Knoxville, his fit with this team, and his expectations that he wants Vol Nation to know about. And on how much his high school recruitment played a role, this is what Harris had to say. Quote, I think it played a huge factor into it. I gained a true relationship with Coach Barnes. It's crazy. I think him and Coach Forbes, those two head coaches, are coaches I consider that I have so much love for. So when it came to entering the portal, Coach Barnes was on me heavy. Coach Brian Lentz was on me heavy. The whole program. Even how much love I got on social media before I even announced I was coming from all the Vol fans. So I'm super excited to come play in front of you guys, and it's going to be a big show. Some nice words right there from Juke Harris. And, we'll discuss a little bit deeper inside the recruitment of Harris here in a moment. But this is a guy that I think is excited and motivated to play on Rocky Top next year. Keep in mind, he was in California over the last couple of weeks training for the NBA draft. Rick Barnes and staff decided to fly out to Cali and go see him, want to lock down that commitment, and he ends up committing on Monday. And now you've got a true NBA-level player on your roster. And as we've discussed throughout the week and over the last couple of weeks for that matter, the teams across college basketball that have NBA-level talent are going to have a lot of success. Look at Michigan this past year. Obviously, that's the poster child of the transfer portal recently after they cut down the nets this year. But they added Damara, Morez Johnson, Elliot Cadeau, and Yaxel Lindenborg in the portal last year. There are a lot of questions of whether getting an all-transfer portal team will fit. Will it work? Well, Michigan's an example of it, and they've got a really good coach, and I think Tennessee does too. And for Juke Harris, he's going to be motivated because he's trying to get to the league. Yaxel Lindenborg played pretty motivated this year. I don't like his decision of wearing, Jordan 12s for his ankle support, but he battled through a couple of injuries throughout the year and continued to play and played some of his best basketball in March. And thankfully for Tennessee, we're switching to Adidas, so they can't wear Jordans. And I think Juke Harris is going to have a really good season because he's going to be motivated to make it to the league. He likes the fit with Rick Barnes. And he also has got a really talented cast around him. And that's what Michigan looked like this past year. The coach, the fit, the motivation, the cast around you. And I think for that, Juke Harris is going to be a part of a big show for Tennessee basketball. Andy Katz ranked the Vols number 5 in his first Power 44 rankings yesterday. I think there are a lot of people outside of Knoxville that believe this is going to be a good team. Not just Harris, not just us. And the reason why is because of guys like Juke that are on this roster and the way that you fill the rest of this thing out. Garrett, to you, some pretty big words right there. It's going to be a big show, says Harris on the Mike Keith show. Do you like that confidence? And for him personally, it's a big year for him as well. Do you think that motivation is going to play into what this 2026-27 roster looks like for the Vols?
Yeah, I think so. This is obviously going to be your best roster probably under Barnes. The 2018-19 team obviously is up there as well, but from front to back, I think this is the most excited you've been, going into a season to add an NBA level player like this to your roster that could have been a back-end first-round draft pick, and now is, if he plays the way he did last season, going to play his way into a lottery pick. So I think there's a lot of hype behind this team. I think there's a lot of excitement, and I think that's good. I think that you want that behind your team. I think you want excitement. You want the thought of this team's, really good enough to win a national title going in, into the season. And we'll see early how good we are playing Purdue, playing Michigan State, going to Vegas, playing all those games. You're going to know in non-con how good this team is. And I think you're going to see some big wins. I think this team is good enough to beat a Purdue on the road in November. I think this team is good enough to go out to the Players Era tournament and compete for a championship. And, like we've said, this is probably, most likely Barnes could be his final run. So I think if it is, you want to create the biggest show that you can for him. And, Thompson Bowling is going to be, it's excited when these games are at home and you play these SEC games. It's been one of the most, electric atmospheres in college basketball over the past couple seasons. And I think you're going to win a lot of games, and you're going to win a lot of games at home. And I think Juke Harris is going to be remembered as probably one of the more impressive players to come through this team within the last decade.
Brett, to you, what do you make of Juke Harris talking about, how influential Coach Barnes was in getting here, and also, kind of giving a message to Vol Nation saying, I'm ready to come play, and it's going to be a big show while I'm at it.
Yeah, this is what we talked about. Barnes develops these relationships. He even mentioned in there, just talking about, Barnes even reached out when he didn't commit here, out of high school and things like that. Just shows you the kind of guy he was and things like that. And he gave you an inside look of kind of how Barnes handled the portal and all that, going and visiting him and being honest with him and things like that. So, he's fired up to be here. We're extremely fired up to have him. I kind of wish they had introductory press conferences because I'd love to see how many people would show up for him, things like that. So this is big for Tennessee. As we've said, this is the biggest portal get, that you've had. We'll see what he does when he gets here, and the expectations are going to be what connected for you. Right there in All-American race, right there maybe as the National Player of the Year race, and right there for the Final Four race. So this is a big time get, and I hope he improves his draft stock, because if he's playing well and he's improving his draft stock, that can only mean great things for Tennessee. So, I'm super stoked that he's fired up, because I know we are too. And we're almost looking past football season for basketball right now.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the excitement it is right now for Tennessee.
Keith also asked Harris about his relationship with Rick Barnes and how that played a role in his recruitment. And this is what Harris had to say, quote, I think all of it was a help. I feel like the relationship I built with Coach Barnes, I knew coming in to this time in the transfer portal. I felt like that was going to be a big thing with me. I'm a real family, loyal type guy. So whenever I feel like somebody or someone genuinely cares for me outside of the basketball aspect of it, it's hard to look away from that. And it shows a whole bunch of light on him. So I think Rick Barnes and the whole coaching staff did that, especially for me, not even choosing them in a high school. And they had the same love for me when I didn't choose them. So I felt like it was the right choice to choose them this time. And something we discussed, and I continue to reiterate in the lead up to Harris's commitment on Monday, was the strengths of those relationships that Coach Barnes and this staff had with not only Harris, but in addition to his family. And about 2 weeks before Harris committed, I was told from someone very close to the situation that Harris's mother was a big advocate of Harris choosing Tennessee. Now, that was at the time where Harris was still talking to Michigan and North Carolina, and there were other options, the NBA as well. But Harris's mother really liked and valued the connection and the relationship with Rick Barnes, this staff, Harris, and Harris's family. And I said that was a big role. Obviously, the NIL plays a big deal into it. I know.
5 million reasons.
Well, we put out a graphic yesterday, and
yeah,
it said that Juke was really excited to be here, and it's going to be a big show. And all these people are commenting, well, that's a $4 million reason. Every big name player is going to make money. It's not like at the end of the day, he would have made that money anywhere. It's not just like Tennessee was the only team that was willing to pay him. He would have made that anywhere, and he chose Tennessee. I had the same debate about it in the middle of the season with one of my friends who was talking about Nate Ament. Mm-hmm. And he's like, well, Nate Ament doesn't really care about Tennessee. He said he made money. That's why he's there. And I said, no. He could have made that money at Duke. He could have made that money anywhere. But he chose Tennessee because of Rick Barnes, the development, and the possibility of them becoming a first-round pick. That's why he came here. And Nate Ament embraced being a VFL more than anyone. So I know a lot of the dynamic for a lot of these kids in the portal is all about money. And for some of them, it really is. But I think in cases like this, when you're a guy on the fringe of going to the NBA draft, you enter your name in the portal, there are a lot of teams coming after you. Michigan's got a war chest. He could have gone to Michigan for the same price, but he came to Tennessee because of that relationship, and I think that's so valuable here. Garrett, real quick, and this portal dynamic, money, that's all that's really talked about. But sometimes stuff like this, these relationships do end up being integral parts in courting a player, and Harris kind of weighed out on that on the Mike Keith show. What do you make of it?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, that's what Barnes does. Obviously, very, open with his faith and very family guy. I mean, those are the type of coaches the players want to play for. He's a player's guy. He could have gone and played for UNC and played for Malone, who's been one of the better coaches in the NBA recently. He could have gone to Michigan and played for Dusty May, who's, probably the second best college basketball coach in the country right now behind Hurley. So he decided that he was going to come play for Rick Barnes, a guy that cares deeply about his players. And, I think Rick Barnes, like as cliche as it is, I think he makes you a better person off the court too, not just a basketball player. And I think that those are the type of things that players want to play for. He's going to care about Juke's family. He's not just going to care about him as a basketball player. He's going to care about him as a college kid off the court too. So I think Rick Barnes is as much of a, figure that you can look to as someone to just talk to as much as he is a college basketball coach. And he's obviously a really good college basketball coach too. So I think the relationships that you have with Barnes on and off the court is just really impressive and important. And that's why Rick Barnes is looked at, by many as, one of the greats to coach college basketball this generation.
Brett, real quick, what do you make of those comments about that relationship with Coach Barnes?
Not surprised. Barnes has great relationships throughout the college game and even with the young basketball players and things like that. Like I said, he wasn't mad about Juke. I mean, I'm sure he was upset he didn't choose out of high school, but, calling him, congratulating him on his choice, and things like that. And, it's easy you hear Barnes talk and you hear a lot of people talk about him, and it's hard not to love Coach Barnes. And it'd be an easy decision because he gets you in the league and he also makes you a better person as well. So it's and that's why parents, he spoke of his mom and things like that, speaking on him as well. So, it's obviously huge. We can talk about the money all day, but I think you got to be able to like where you're going to spend the next however so many months, as well. And so, I'm glad he chose us. And I think Barnes, as well as the money, was a huge part and a selling point. So super, super excited. And, Barnes can get the best out of this kid, no doubt about it.
When we come back, we'll tell you one more quote from Juke Harris, specifically talking about how Rick Barnes is a little bit tougher on his players than others and why that excites Harris for the upcoming season. We'll break it down when we return right here on the Playbook on Fan Run Radio.
Catch up with all things Fan Run by subscribing to our podcast feed. Like, rate, and download the show from the Fan Run app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Hi, I'm Dr. Jacob Wilco at Knoxville Smiles. Have you ever wanted to improve the look of your smile? We know firsthand what the power of a great smile means to a person's confidence and health. Our team of doctors can provide you with an array of options for helping you achieve your cosmetic goals. From simply moving teeth into a better position, to reversible cosmetic bonding, to full mouth implant-supported dentures. It is our goal to help patients feel good about their appearance while achieving optimal health. Want to learn more? Call us at 865-539-1776 to schedule an evaluation or visit us online at knoxvillesmiles.com.
Hi, this is Bo Kregner from the Kregner Group at Realty Executives, and I know there's a lot of choices here in East Tennessee when it comes to choosing a realtor. Here's why the Kregner Group is different. At the Kregner Group, our motto is walking by faith, serving others. It's how I live my life. It's how I run my business. Here at the Kregner Group, we're committed to doing real estate the right way. Faith, honesty, integrity. The Kregner Group. Call me anytime at 865-742-1035 or visit my website at boknowshouses.com.
Welcome to Axle Logistics, where excellence isn't just a goal, it's an energy. As a leading third-party logistics company, Axle is powered by an award-winning culture built on a work hard, play hard mentality. Here, the drive for success is contagious and hard work never goes unnoticed. Whether you're just starting out or looking to level up, Axle Logistics is the place to launch your career. Join us and take your ambition to the stars. To learn more, visit axlelogistics.com.
All right, back here on the Playbook, wrapping up hour number one. Time flying by on this beautiful Friday from Knoxville, Tennessee. If you're on that YouTube chat, make sure to like and subscribe so you never miss any Fan Run content. We appreciate those comments as well. Good to see Buck and Shane Short in the chat, Matt in chat, and others. Backflip Spaghetti as well. A lot of names.
Buck gave Barnes a little credit, right? Didn't he? What he said.
Barnes had 25% to do with this. Money did the rest. So, hey, give him some credit.
Yeah, yes.
Shane Short said, I think it's closer to 60-40 money versus the coach. Buck always keeps it real.
He does.
He always keeps it real. Real quick, one more quote from Juke Harris as we continue this topic. Hard coaching was one thing that Mike Keith asked Harris on the Mike Keith show on Thursday, and this is what Harris had to say, quote, another thing that he did that separated himself from everybody else is he came in and told me how good I was, but he also got on me about stuff or some stuff they can see that I need to work on, like turning my body more when I come off a screen, turning my body facing the goal, different things that I need to do on the defensive side, fighting over screens, making sure I'm closing out. So they showed me little stuff like that. And I have seen some stuff that I needed to work on that I didn't even know that they had already seen. So I feel like I'll be more of a complete player going into Tennessee next year. And I think that's a great quote at the end because it's something that I've long discussed when talking about these transfer portal players, especially the high caliber ones that Barnes brings in. When Dalton Connect first arrived on campus, he was a gifted scorer, but he lacked some defense and wasn't great in terms of the rebounding either. By the end of the season, he was pinning shots against the backboard and was rebounding really well. He really refined his game. Chaz Lanier, really good shooter. You knew that coming in. Wasn't a great defender, was not a rebounder, and struggled to handle the ball on his own. Now, there were times throughout the year where he still struggled to handle the basketball, but I thought he became a better defender, and I thought he became a better rebounder. You go back in the tournament, he had multiple games of 5+ rebounds. That's improving little things to an already pretty good archetype. And I think that's what Tennessee can do with Juke Harris. I think that's a big reason why he wanted to come here, as he said. So I love that quote about hard coaching and the fact that even in this recruitment, Barnes and staff are like, you're really good, but hey, you need to improve this. You know, that's the funny thing about recruiting. It's like you feel like it's all just, oh, you're the man. Come here. Oh, we will fly you private. We will get you in the Four Seasons or the Embassy downtown. You like Radius? Come on down all of that. But there's a different approach to it as well, and that's Rick Barnes saying, this is what you need to improve on. We know it. we can get it done here. And I love that approach. Garrett, what do you make of it?
Yeah, I think that's a good approach to have, telling a player what they can get better at. And obviously he knows that he can still improve his game. Obviously, if you're going to be an NBA lottery pick, you still got to improve your game a little bit more. Obviously, you reviewed back into the first round, beginning of the second round. So I think just coming somewhere where you know that you can improve and they're going to be able to help you. And that obviously shows his trust in Rick Barnes. That was the coach that he wanted to come and develop with. And that's a big part of, obviously, he wants to go to the NBA, make a lot of money, be really good in the NBA and have a great professional career too. So he's trusting Rick Barnes in his last year of college of development to be the player or the coach that develops him. And I think that's also a really good, thing for Rick Barnes to have in his back pocket, is the fact that he's a very good developer of talent of players. And defensively, like you said, obviously he's helped connect. He's helped Lanier. A lot of these guys that can go out and score 20 points a game, but defense was maybe lacking a little bit. By the time you get to March, their defense was really good. And I think Harris obviously is a better defender than Connect coming in, obviously, but still same type of thing, can go out and score a lot of points. And obviously on the defensive side of the ball, going to improve too. And Barnes, if you can't play both sides of the court, you're not going to play. So defense has always been a big identity in Barnes and going to continue to be a big identity this season.
Most certainly. A big addition for Tennessee is Juke Harris, and love to hear some
scary
quotes.
That's scary for the rest of the conference.
Oh, yeah.
If Barnes is going to improve this guy because he's already really good.
Yeah.
If he can take his game to the next level,
yeah,
it's going to be fun.
Almost basketball time, isn't it? Maybe
let's just skip forward.
Whenever that first exhibition is when you start clearing your schedule.
They got any summer league? That's what we need out there.
I know.
They used to do this Rocky Top League where they go like a couple of area high schools here and like some of the old players come back and play. That was so fun. What they did in my high school, Bearden a bunch.
Yeah,
and
really.
Things like that. That was fun watching those guys play up close in front of everybody.
They went out of the country a couple of years ago. I can't remember where they went.
Oh, that's true. They did do that too.
They went somewhere and played
Italy
a couple exhibition games
France.
over there. Yeah.
I think they allow teams to do that once every 4 years.
Okay.
I think is my understanding on that. I know Kentucky was supposed to go to Jerusalem, but I was watching those Mark Pope videos. And
that was tough.
He said he canceled it.
Yeah.
They canceled it.
He flew to Israel and didn't land the guy over there.
Yeah, where'd that guy go? LSU or something?
Well,
he
debunked that as well. Said that he didn't travel there for an already committed guy, but who knows? All right, when we come back, hour two, we're not talking Mark Pope, but we'll talk about Tennessee baseball hosting number 4 ranked Texas beginning tonight in Lindsey Nelson Stadium. We'll get you ready for all the action there. And then a little bit later on, a recap of the NBA playoffs from last night. I'm pretty fired up about that Lakers game, and we'll wrap it up with our final thoughts. Stay right here. Hour number 2 on the way. It's Fan Run Radio.
Follow us on Twitter or X or whatever the they're calling it these days at Fox Sports Knox. Fox Sports Knoxville. Fan Run Radio.
Blackford Veterinary Surgery Referral specializes in surgeries not regularly performed by your pet's general veterinarian. They're currently accepting referrals from vets all across the country. With their newly renovated state-of-the-art surgery center and highly trained staff, clients can rely on professional and thorough care. If your vet says that your pet needs surgery or rehab, ask for a referral to Blackford Vet and let them get your best friend back on its feet. Located conveniently in West Knoxville. For more information, visit blackfordvetsurgery.com.
Snakes, zombies, sharks, heights, speaking in public. The list of fears is endless. But while you're clutching your blanket in the dark, wondering if that sound in the hall was actually a footstep, the real danger is in your hand, when you're behind the wheel. And while you might think a great white shark is scary, what's really terrifying and even deadly is distracted driving. Eyes forward, don't drive distracted. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. Go ahead, feel your engine. Admire that perfectly installed exhaust. Your vehicle's moving along this freeway like it was made from fresh installs and a whole lot of love. With eBay Motors, you get over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Running a business, coaching a team, planning your next big event, you need more than just gear. You need SM Athletics and Logo Solutions. Custom uniforms, branded apparel, promotional products, done right, done fast, and built to show off your brand with pride. From local businesses to high schools to major universities, SM Athletics is trusted by winners. Get real service, get real quality, get noticed. SM Athletics and Logo Solutions, where your brand comes to life.
Visit smathletics.com and let's build something great together.
You're listening to FM 105.7 and AM 1340, WKGN Knoxville, and W289CU Knoxville, Fan Run Radio.
Smoky Mountain Brewery is the place to be for game day. From the moment you walk in, it's wall-to-wall big screens, making Smoky Mountain Brewery the perfect place to watch the Vols or your favorite team in action. With locations in Turkey Creek, Maryville, Pigeon Forge, and Gatlinburg, you're never far away from a great time at Smoky Mountain Brewery. Try one of their world-famous microbrews like Black Bear Ale, Mountain Light, or Cherokee Ale. Juicy burgers, wings that bring the heat, and delicious handmade pizzas made with hand-tossed crust from the freshest ingredients and their own special sauce from a secret recipe, topped off with hand-grated cheese and farm-fresh toppings. And don't forget, those famous microbrews are also available in kegs for your next party or in 6-packs and growlers to go. So grab your crew and head to Smoky Mountain Brewery and tell them Fan Run Radio sent you. Smoky Mountain Brewery. Eat local, eat good.
Fan Run Radio, where Big Orange Country comes to talk sports. Start your morning off with your daily dose of talk sports with John Reed and Cody McClure from 8 to 11. Then it's Tony Basilio from 11 to 1. The Playbook with William Pattison from 1 to 3. And The Drive from 3 to 6. It's 10 hours of hard-hitting local sports radio every day, right here on the flagship station for Tennessee fans. This is Fan Run Radio, Knoxville.
Here we go. Hour number 2 on a Friday, live from the White Claw Hard Seltzer Studios. It's the Playbook on Fan Run Radio. Brett Hullander, Garrett Armbrust joining you. I'm William Pattison. Great stuff in hour number 1. We'll continue it here in hour number 2 as we get you ready for Tennessee and Texas tonight in college baseball. The Vols are looking to try to get a couple of signature wins in the regular season as postseason play is looming. The Vols aren't necessarily firmly in at this point in time, but 2 wins this weekend against the Longhorns might be enough to punch a ticket for sure. We'll discuss what to watch for, who's on the mound, and much more as we get you ready for that one. A little bit later on, we'll discuss the NBA playoffs. The Lakers fall on the road in Game 2 to the Thunder. There's a lot of drama stemming from this one. Austin Reeves getting into it with the officials, the whole Lakers team basically meeting up with the refs in a dark alley fashion at half court, and the Thunder continue to flail and flop around, and then you got the guy with painted nails drilling threes. It's just a painful watch at times, but you've also got a couple of games tonight and this weekend we'll get you ready for. So plenty to cover in hour 2. And we'll get right into it with Tennessee baseball set to host Texas this weekend as Tennessee and Texas will square off in its first regular season matchup as conference foes when the number 4 ranked Longhorns visit Lindsey Nelson Stadium for a 3-game series starting tonight at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time on the SEC Network. Plus, this weekend will mark the final home series of the regular season for Tennessee as they travel to Oklahoma next weekend to wrap up the regular season. And before you know it, they'll be in Hoover. But right now, it's really ever since SEC play started, we'll just put it at that. Ever since SEC play began, it's been an up and down roller coaster of what to expect from this Tennessee team. Last weekend, it was a 2-3 series loss to a Kentucky team that had been struggling and is considered one of the lesser teams in the conference. Before that, it was a ridiculous doubleheader, back-to-back pounding of Alabama at home. Before that, it was an ugly series loss to Ole Miss. Before that, it was a sweep in Starkville. If you can't get the gist of what I'm saying, it's been all over the place. And now you welcome in one of the best teams in college baseball into your own building, a place that Tennessee really has not had that much success in this year, which is also, I think, an issue. But now your backs are kind of against the wall. You need to win games at this point of the year. And I'd say you probably need 4 out of your last 6 or 3 out of your last 6 to feel good here. Is that fair in saying, at least in the regular season? At SEC play, you need to win 3 out of your last 6. Would that be a fair assessment in saying that's enough to get Tennessee over the hump?
Yeah, you gotta get 3.
14, yeah.
2, like if you win 2, you have a chance RPI wise, and you got to go on a little bit of run in the SEC tournament. 3, you could get knocked out the first day in Hoover. And
I don't think a team's missed if they've won 14.
Yeah, if you win 14, you're fine. But Kentucky had 13 last year and got in. So, I mean, you can get in with 13. It's just you leave it up to the committee at that point. If you get 14 with your RPI, you're in no matter what.
Yeah.
Hopefully our name carries weight in the committee's eyes as well.
Well, you don't have the same skipper at the helm this year. First year coach Josh Elander.
Certainly the truth there.
Has led Tennessee to a 32-17 record heading into the weekend, but SEC play has been inconsistent, as we detailed a moment ago. But to you guys, what are the expectations this weekend? Because I think right now it's almost expect the unexpected. And if the series trajectory continues itself, this could be a really good weekend for Tennessee, considering what you saw last week. But Brett, beginning with you, what are your expectations up against the number 4 ranked team in the country coming in your own building?
Man, I wish I knew. I've come in here and been real positive going into the series, and now I just don't know what to do. You know, last week I said, I think I've called 2 sweeps this season. I've been painfully wrong and things like that. So I may not make a prediction this weekend, just try and enjoy the games. But I wish I knew what to expect. We've been all over the place, like you said. One day it's the pitching's good. One day the hitting's good. There's not been many times outside of maybe Mississippi State where you put it all together over a decent stretch. You think, you've gone undefeated on Tuesdays. You think going to the weekend, all right, the bats are hot, the pitching's good and things like that. So I just don't know what to expect. This is probably the best team you've probably played all season, and you're not that great at home. So the expectations are it's going to be tough to even win one against these guys. They're a talented team. They got really good pitching and really good hitting. It's as you'd expect for a top 5 team. So yeah, we got our work cut out for us. I mean, I really don't know. I guess my expectations, honestly, as I just don't see us winning the series. You just kind of hope for one and go from there.
Not Alex. Garrett, to you. Usually Friday.
Yeah.
So used to by habit now. Garrett, to you, your expectations. Maybe no predictions like Brett, but your expectations for Tennessee, because they almost have to be positive if you want this group to be a postseason team.
Yeah, you got to get at least one here, obviously. You're hosting a really good team. You got, we'll get into the pitching here in a minute, but you got probably the best pitcher in the country starting for Texas tonight. So it's going to be difficult. I'm not really a huge fan of the way that he's done the starting pitching lineup the last 2 weeks. I don't like him going for it again. It didn't work last week. I don't exactly know why he's going back for it again, but your hitting's got to be good. You got to be able to put the ball in play. It's something you couldn't do the first 2 nights in Lexington last weekend. And you just got to have passion, obviously. I think, we've talked about that all season, a little bit of just slowness out of the team sometimes, just not a whole lot of passion and excitement from the dugout and the players. You got to start that early. You got to start that right now. You got to start that tonight. You got to play like your lives are on the line tonight, because all these games are pretty much must wins. Like we said, you got to win 3 out of 6. You got to have the mentality that you got to win all of them. And you got to go out there and play with everything you got. And hopefully the bats can stay. They've been pretty good over the past couple of weeks outside of the 2 games in Lexington. Going back to the final game against Ole Miss, your bats have been there. They were there the whole series against Alabama. They've been there in the midweeks. You just got to continue that. You got to have good series out of Grinlinger. You got to have good series out of the guys that aren't your number 1 and 2 options like Ford. So lineup's got to be hot all the way around. Pitching's got to be good. I mean, really everything's got to be good. There's not any way around this. You got to play your best, baseball of the year if you want to win the series.
Matt in chat on the YouTube chat says, feels like this team's intensity is determined by their opponents. They don't bring the same mindset to every series. With Texas being highly ranked, I'd imagine the Vols are at least competitive in every game this series. Would you guys agree with that statement?
Yeah, I mean, they play to their competition is the best way I could say it. I mean, you go up to Lexington and it's a cold, dreary Friday night, and you're playing a team that bunts and, plays baseball a little bit unconventionally, and you don't show up for that game. But then you go to Starkville against a top 10 team and you sweep them in, the best atmosphere in college baseball. So I think this team completely plays up to, who they're playing. I mean, that goes back to the beginning of the season when you lost a series to Kent State. You lost to a MAC team. You played a team that you're better than, but you've kind of played to their level. Mississippi State, you played to their level. I mean, you've played to the level of pretty much every team that you faced this season. So I think they're going to play good. I think they're going to play well this week. Now, their best is not as good as Texas's best, and you still may lose the series even if you play up to their level. But I think you're going to at least be, confident, and I think the games are at least going to be close. And I'm not going to, take away the fact that you could still win this series after everything I've seen from this team. You're so up and down. I wouldn't be surprised at all if you won the series.
Brett, what about you? What'd you make of that comment?
It may not matter. I just don't know. Like this is so hard because like if they get into our bullpen and now your best bullpen arm has just been dreadful the last, and maybe he's just tired. He's been overused, but like I wish he'd almost switch the rotation back up, have Coons go second, and maybe like worst case scenario, like you lose tonight, but then you have Coons, your best pitcher, in your back pocket. Because we saw he lost the first two in Kentucky and things like that. So I do kind of agree, though. I mean, you tend to play up to your competition. Like I wish I could be more confident and know what's going to happen. Like some days the bats are going, and some days the pitching's not there, and we can't put it all together. And you're playing the best team. They're number one in the SEC and pitching. They're number 3 in hitting. And things like that. So. It's slim margins this weekend. And, I feel like our pitching staff's going to have to, our starting pitching is going to have to be elite this weekend because I'm afraid if they get in that bullpen, it could be lights out for us.
Yeah. And mentioning that bullpen, we'll segue to who's on the mound for Tennessee and Texas this weekend. Game 1, that's tonight, 6:30 p.m. Eastern time on the SEC Network. Plus, don't worry, you can watch the game on cable on Sunday, but 2 days of SEC Network Plus begin tonight, 6:30 in Lindsey Nelson Stadium. Right-hander Tegan Coons gets the start, 11 games on the year, 3-4 record, 3.46 ERA, and he's going up against a stud in left-hander Dylan Volantis, who's got 11 games on the season, a perfect 7-0 record, and a 1.87 ERA, a big reason why this Longhorns team is the number 4 team in the country. On Saturday, that's game 2, a first pitch of 6 p.m. Eastern time on the SEC Network Plus. You've got lefty Evan Blanco starting. 12 games started on the year, a 5-3 record, a 4.36 ERA for the Virginia transfer. And he's going up against right-hander Ruger Riojas. Yeah, yes. Ruger Riojas for Texas. 12 games started, 5-2 record, a 3.71 ERA. And then Sunday, this one will be broadcasted on ESPN2 at 12 p.m. Eastern time. You've got Landon Mack, the Rutgers transfer, on Sunday, a righty who's got 12 games started on the year, a 4-4 record, and a 4.67 ERA. And then Luke Harrison, the lefty for Texas, gets the ball. 12 games started, 5-2 record, 4.35 ERA. But something you guys have already alluded to, it's the same lineup that you saw last week, the same rotation, I should say, on the mound in terms of the starters as you saw last weekend in a 2-3 series loss to Kentucky. Do you guys like that they're sticking with this? Because as you had mentioned last week, Brett, when we were pre-gaming for the Kentucky matchup, you didn't love that you were making changes this late in the season. Last week, you don't have much success with it, but you're continuing to roll with it. Did you anticipate maybe they go back to what they were doing and moving Coons back to Saturday? Or, I mean, are you okay with this?
Well, as I mentioned just a minute ago, I kind of like the idea of maybe just having Coons in your back pocket on the Saturday, and then something happens tonight, like you have your best pitcher going to either tie a series, maybe put you up, win a series. That second spot could have been a nice spot to have him and things like that. But it's kind of a risk because I think you can gain a lot of momentum on Friday night, and we're not very successful on Fridays at all. But Texas, I think, is 4-4 in their series on Fridays, which kind of makes it weird that he's undefeated pitching. So I don't know what goes on there, but yeah, I just think it's. I don't know. I think I would have at least maybe switched it back. I don't know. Maybe it's just. Yeah, I don't know. It's just Coons I thought was good first 5 innings against Kentucky. Then he gave up the home run. Just didn't get any offensive going. You got to find a way to get a lead because I think Coons pitches better with the lead and things like that. So just got to find a way to get the bats going, and the pitching will take care of itself.
Garrett, to you, do you like that Tennessee and Josh Eland are sticking with the same group that you saw last week in terms of the pitching rotation?
No, not really. I would have liked to have seen Mac go back to Friday. Even if you lose with Mac on the mound, I mean, you're going up against Volantis, and Volantis is 7-0 this season. They haven't lost a game with him, sub-2 ERA. Obviously, like I said,
lefty too.
Yeah,
right?
he's one of the best pitchers in the country. He's probably the best pitcher in the SEC. Even if you lose that game, at least you feel pretty solid about Blanco and Coons your second 2 days, that you can come back out and at least win one, or maybe even still win the series, even if you lose game one. And I also like Mac going game ones because Mac plays with the emotion on his sleeve, and he kind of has the excitement that he plays with that not a lot of other pitchers have. And so I don't know. I just feel like that's kind of who you want on a Friday night going, just because that gets everybody up, that gets everybody excited and ready to play. And that's what we talked about. You play to your, the opponents that you've played this season. If you got Mac going out there and he's, kind of gets into it, gets a little chippy, starts saying some stuff the way that he kind of talks, I think that helps your team for the next 2 days. I don't know that you really want to wait till Sunday to see that out of your pitching staff.
And Coons has shown enough on Fridays. He wasn't very good in the Friday.
That's what I'm saying. And I didn't even mention that Coons has been throughout his career. He's horrible on Fridays. I don't know if that's something that's mental or what it is, but he's a Saturday guy, and you've seen that in the Ole Miss and the Alabama series. He's a game 2 guy.
If anything, switch Blanco at Mac. Yeah. You want to try something.
Exactly. So I don't. I don't understand that.
Now, Blake in the YouTube chat was talking about Volantis, the Friday starter for Texas on the mound tonight, a lefty with a 7-0 record. Blake was adding in that Volantis has started on Sundays for a good chunk of the season, but nonetheless, still a very impressive 7-0 number, and that ERA of 1.87, pretty strong too. And when we talk about this Texas team, like Volantis, this team is very good. Ranking 4th in the country at 36-10 on the season, 15-8 in SEC play. And last year they were 44-14, 22-8 in the SEC. So they're right on par with what they did last season, once again this year. And they were able to make it to the Austin Regional, but that's where it came to an end as they went 2-2. They finished second in the SEC's preseason poll. And Jim Schlossnagel, who we all remember from his time at Texas A&M, now in his second year with the Longhorns, he's got an 80-24 record since arriving in Austin. But overall, he's won a lot of baseball games, a 1,026, 479 total record in 25 career seasons. And when you look at the preseason nominations for all conference, well, that's Dylan Volantis, Carson Tenney, and Ethan Mendoza, a second baseman and catcher for Tenney and Mendoza, respectively there. But Volantis, a guy we've already mentioned. But the Longhorns have one of the nation's most consistent teams in the country since the start of the season and entered this weekend series tied for the second spot in the SEC standings with Texas A&M. Kind of interesting considering who Texas's coach is now. But Texas is bolstered by one of the country's deepest pitching units, ranking 11th in the NCAA and second in the SEC with a 3.83 ERA. And this is a really good baseball team, and they're really well coached. And Tennessee knows that. I mean, hell, you saw Schlossnagel not too long ago in the College World Series when he was coaching the Aggies, and they had some really good arms on that team.
Yep.
So, you anticipate that Texas is going to be a good group when you nail the head coaching hire. And as we've been discussing in all sports, if you nail the hire, you're going to have some really good teams. Texas has that, and they're even down a couple of guys, including, what was that, a dual sport guy they've got, Garrett?
Jonah Williams.
Yeah, Jonah Williams. I mean, he got hurt
early on
in the season. And that's a really talented player but they're still able to overcome that. And they've got a number of guys, including their pitchers, that are really, really strong. So, we list off the pitchers, what they can do, but this team top to bottom is very strong and well coached. Garrett, what do you make of this Longhorns team overall in anticipation for tonight's matchup and the rest of the weekend?
Oh, yeah. I mean, definitely one of the best teams in the country. I mean, and they hit home runs. This team can get the ball out of the stadium, and that's something that you got to control your pitching staff, especially your bullpen. I mean, you've seen your bullpen a lot of times not be able to throw strikes, and then when they have been able to throw strikes, you've seen them go into the porches sometimes. So, I mean, you got to limit these guys. Carson Tenney, 17 home runs on the season. Aiden Robbins, 18 home runs on the season. And then you have this Anthony Pack Jr. kid that's come alive the past couple of weeks. He's the best freshman in the country right now. He's batting almost 350. He's got 40 RBIs. I mean, he's kind of come out of seemingly nowhere, and he's elevated himself to – he's going to be freshman of the year in the SEC this season. And then Ethan Mendoza, another guy that can hit 12 home runs. He got how many homers do you have? I missed it. Where was it? 8 home runs. Barboa has 12 home runs. Like, these guys can hit a lot of home runs. These guys can hit it out of the park. These guys can get on base.
Who's this Aiden Robbins guy?
Yeah,
he's got 18.
Yeah, he's got 18. Yeah, he's their center fielder. Yeah, he's one of their best players. Their whole outfield is really good hitters. Yeah, but no, this is going to be the best offensive team that you're going to face all year. And it's probably going to be the best pitching staff that you faced all year too. So this is just going to be a tough atmosphere, tough team to play. Obviously, you're going to be at home. Hopefully the crowd shows out, the student section's packed out, and it's one of those atmospheres where the team can kind of leech onto it. But it's also one of those games where if you get down early, if Texas hits a home run in the first couple innings and they're up 3-0, you can't give up. You got to just continue to chip away. This team is the Alabama game. You got down a little bit early the first game, and then every time Alabama would score, you would answer and then give up another home run and then answer and give it. You got to just chip away in these games. And there's going to be adversity in this series, and you just got to be able to face adversity and try and come out on top of those moments.
Well, Garrett does a pretty good job laying it out there, Brett. What do you make of this Longhorns team?
They're really good. And we know that. I think the series is more about us and what we do. Our approach to the plate, I feel, has got to be a little different. Kentucky had 2 guys pretty much go complete games against us on Friday and Saturday because our approach at the plate was poor. You're popping things up, and that's key. I mean, it seems like if we don't get off to a good start with the bats, then it just trends negatively the whole way until you hit a garbage time home run and we got our team baseball account. So at least they didn't shut us out, and stuff like that. So this is going to be tough. We're going to have to play our best baseball this season. And you hate saying that because this time of year, you want to be playing your best baseball this season. This could carry a lot of momentum into the final series and into Hoover, and we'll see you after that. But yeah, they're going to be good. Like I said, you're just going to have to be at the top of your game. I think our starting pitching has to be really good because I worry about our bullpen right now more so than our 3 starters.
They got to go 6 innings.
Yeah, at least. Yeah. And just can't give up many crooked numbers and limit them to 3-4 runs. I don't know. I don't know what the number is for our offense against their pitching. So it's an uphill battle, but you just gotta find a way. Just take it, I guess, 1 inning at a time.
Dan Slam on the YouTube chat.
I like that.
It's a good name.
Baseball name.
Yeah, good baseball name for sure. He goes, unfortunately, Elander is grasping for straws. Hope it works out, though. We'll see. And then Hewitt Pruitt has an interesting comment. I'll read that in here in a moment. But
do you think it's hard, though, in baseball? If you're not, I feel like momentum and things like that, it's hard to get juice up if you're not swinging the bat well. It's just negatively affects the rest of the team and like that. I feel like it's got to be – your big boppers that really get things going, and that goes with Ford and Blaine Brown. It's just so demoralizing watching those guys. More so Brown than that, but you need your big guys to provide that energy and things like that. That's the only way I feel like baseball can find energy outside of your manager getting fired up, because unless you're swinging the bat or pitching the ball, the manager's job is just put you out there and you got to go do the work.
Well, you bring up the bats, right? And I think that's interesting because over the last 10 games, Tennessee's actually had a lot of success with the long ball, but hasn't necessarily pumped out wins. The Vols have had a major surge in recent weeks, blasting 31 home runs over their last 10 games entering this weekend's contest. And the 91 home runs on the season is best for 10th nationally, and have them on pace to eclipse the 100 homer mark for the 5th consecutive season. That's more on par of what we knew of Tennessee baseball under Coach Tony Vitello. But UT hitters have left yard multiple times in 8 games over the last team's 12. And in that same span, you've seen more than 3 home runs go out of the park 7 times in that stretch. So, maybe a little bit of that is from that Ole Miss matchup where Tennessee nailed 6 out of the ballpark. And you had a couple against Alabama as well. Not so many last week against Kentucky. But in this spot, as you mentioned, Brett, you're going to have guys step up to the plate and make plays. Momentum is a big deal in a matchup like this. Garrett echoed it. There are going to be a lot of people in Lindsey Nelson Stadium this weekend for a matchup like this. That student section, they'll get pretty bored and tired and thinking about cool beans and the girl they're going to text tonight if you're down 5-0 in the second inning because you're not able to produce anything at the plate. So who has to step up this weekend for Tennessee baseball? Is it a Blaine Brown? Is it a front runner like a Henry Ford, or some of these other guys towards the bottom of the lineup? Who has to step up, Garrett?
I would like to see Levi Clark continue to kind of be what he's done. Obviously, I think you feel comfortable from like Grinlinger and Grimmer. They've kind of emerged themselves this season. But, Levi was batting sub 200 up until a couple weeks ago, and he's got his average up to 220-ish, 230 now. But obviously, he hit a massive home run in Lexington last weekend. If he didn't hit that home run, who knows what we'd be talking about right now. We'd be talking about we'd have to win 4 of the next 6 games because we would have got swept. So I think Clark's got to play well. Everyone's got to play well, but I think Reese Chapman, too, is another guy. This is a guy that's a leader of this team, and he's had some pretty rough days at the plate in SEC play this season. So I think Reese Chapman's another guy, and he's had a lot of good games too, don't get me wrong, but I just feel like a guy that returned, could have gone to the MLB draft last year, one of your returning starters. He needs to have a big weekend as well.
Well, senior day is on Sunday. You talk about guys that have been around for a while. That's another wrinkle into this weekend. Sunday will be senior day for Tennessee. You've got, I believe, 4 members are going to be represented, but you'd like to send them off on the right note, and you start that by playing good baseball, consistent baseball, complimentary baseball, which is something I think Tennessee really showcased against Mississippi State. I think it was the best performance of the year. Obviously, you swept them, but it was complimentary baseball. And if you're going to get action at the plate, you're also going to have to do that work in the field. And Tennessee has seen a dramatic improvement defensively this season, ranking tied for the first nationally in fielding percentage at .986 entering this weekend. And after finishing last year at 139 and 15th in the SEC, that's a much better percentage than what you've done in years past. But there have been some times this year, a little bit earlier on in the season for that matter, but it still occurred and could become a big deal in a matchup like this up against a really talented team where Tennessee's had some fielding issues, where Tennessee's had some defensive struggles. Do you trust this Tennessee defense and this Tennessee fielding group up against a team in Texas that can knock it out of the park better than anyone in the country, has a ton of talented players, and can also steal a couple of bases before you notice it? Brett, do you trust this defense this weekend?
Yeah, hard to play defense, though, when the ball's going over the fence. That was the problem against Kentucky, a team that doesn't hit home runs. You're giving up the long ball too often instead of letting your defense work. And, it's been very good this season. It's saved you a bunch of runs and things like that, obviously. So, I feel like if the ball's put in play, we're going to make the play. We had struggles early in the season, especially Ford and people like that, with the throwing errors and different things like that. It just seems like just giving away the free passes and the hit by pitches. I think those are almost more important than, if the ball's in play. I feel like we're going to make it. Like I said, you're well ahead in the fielding percentages and things like that. I fully anticipate Tennessee making the plays if they're given the opportunity. We're a really good defensive team. It's just limiting the people getting on base and things like that, and the long ball. Hopefully we can take care of business in that regard, and we'll see what happens.
All right, let's call our shot. Who gets it done this weekend? Keep in mind, folks, Tennessee has lost each series this year that Brett has predicted a sweep. So if we're doing
can you do a reverse
some
sweep
reverse psychology, how about a big sweep for Texas this weekend, Brett?
I mean, I was thinking about it, honestly. I mean, I'll say we get problem is our best pitcher is going tonight, but I don't think we're going to win tonight. I'll say I think we'll win. We'll win Sunday. We'll lose the first two.
Okay.
This team's beat me down so hard, and it's I think we'll only win one game this weekend.
Elander said, or excuse me, Dan Slam says Elander has zero juice. This was a Cadillac program, and we handed it to an assistant.
I was fine. I think
Elander's a good hire.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what Elander's supposed to do. You want him to just get ejected just to show fire? Like, I don't know. Like,
I think you need a win like this weekend for Elander. I think this would be a big weekend to get kind of one of those morale boosting wins, punch your ticket into the postseason. I think Elander's done a fine job, but I don't think he's necessarily met the expectations of what this roster is.
I just don't think the roster's as good as people think it is.
Yeah.
You don't?
I mean, I don't know. I think Blaine Brown, if he stays here, is going to get better next year. But I mean, I don't want to say he's been a disappointment, but I mean, he definitely hadn't played up to the standard we thought he was going to. The guys who got out of the portal pitching wise out of the bullpen have been
brutal,
not good. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't think this team would be that much better with Tony.
No.
I mean, you might be like a game or two above 500, but like,
we weren't.
You probably wouldn't have had you probably wouldn't.
Year.
You might not have had the early season woes where you lost to Kent State, and you might not have lost the games you did to LSU. But I mean, I don't think you'd be that much different of a team.
I mean, you're fourth in conference play in home runs. Like, that's Tony style baseball. You're
sure.
The pitching's just been brutal. Like, you can't overcome that.
Yeah.
Like,
you don't have a real pitching coach.
No, that's the big issue.
I think losing Frank Anderson was bigger than losing Vitello, because Josh Reynolds right now I don't think is doing a good job at all.
Sure. Garrett, and your prediction now for the weekend, keeping everything that we've discussed in the back of your head, what are you feeling right now for Tennessee baseball against the number 4 ranked Longhorns?
I mean, my head says 1, we take 1. My heart says 2. So I don't know. I guess, you know what? I'll go with it. I'll say we win 2 games.
There we go.
We'll win tomorrow and Sunday.
Well, if we're going the reverse of what Brett said, Brett's basically saying a two series.
The problem is if Coons doesn't pitch elite tonight, we're into our bullpen. It's a wash. Like, because then you're depending on Mac.
I just feel like Appenzeller's due for a good game. Like, he's had 3 bad outings in SEC play in a row. He's due for a good game. I feel like Arvidsson's going to pitch decent. I mean, you saw how good Arvidsson pitched against this team in the SEC tournament last year.
I think the interesting thing about Sunday, if it is true, you split the first 2 games, right? Maybe Texas gets one tonight, Tennessee gets one Saturday. Landon Mack, I thought he'd played better last week, but he's also struggled mightily if you're going over the last couple of weeks. It'd be a very interesting spot for him, after, up against probably the best team he'll face in this stretch of when he has struggled. That could be a big spot for him. But do you have the arms on a Sunday is a question, to get that second win of the weekend.
Maybe we're just hitting the cover off the ball this weekend.
Man, that would be a good time. Man.
I'll take anybody. I don't know. I'll take anybody to have a big weekend, a couple of them. I don't care who it is, 1 through 9. Just somebody hit the ball.
Give me 2-1 this weekend. I think Tennessee gets
Texas?
it.
Oh.
Give me Tennessee. Because, look, Tennessee, again, I'm kind of riding this. I'm a trends guy. I've always been a trends guy. I'm riding the up and down. It was down last week. It's about to come back up.
We're on that roller coaster, but that one,
if we went
way down.
If we go up this week and we win 2, then we go down next week, we win 1, we're in postseason play.
Problem is the roller coaster is like way at the bottom because of the Kentucky. So you're like going up one of those huge ones you're almost laying backwards, going up the lift, to go down that big hill.
Dan Slam saying, I think if Reynolds wears that thin hoodie one more time, I think he sleeps in it. I like that. Very good stuff. When we come back, we'll head over to the NBA, talk some playoffs. The Lakers-Thunder game had me so frustrated while eating my salmon last night.
Oh, that's a foul.
Yeah. We'll discuss when we return.
Wasn't flopping too.
Right here.
For the fans, by the fans. This is Fan Run Radio, Knoxville.
Are you ready for the start of a new season? Maybe looking for your team to go on a tournament run? Get game day ready with Crumble. Head on over to your nearest location and pick up 12 pre-selected cookies plus exclusive toppers. When you're looking for dessert options, there's no question about who you should call on. Our listeners already know. Last year, the Dubai chocolate was a home run, along with the brownie batter. Oreo crumb was another crowd favorite. What new flavor will set the standard this season? If you're in the Knoxville area, there are 3 locations ready to serve you: Clinton Highway, Parkside Drive, and Maryville. Download the Crumble app to build your best lineup and vote on the best combos. You can even put your bid in to request a new flavor. Order in the app and slide on over to your nearest location. Tell them Fan Run sent you, and as always, it's for the fans, by the fans. Don't miss the cookies.
White Claw is taking hard seltzer to new heights with White Claw Surge. At 8% alcohol, White Claw Surge is a stronger wave of refreshment that doesn't compromise on taste. Available in 4 bold waves of flavor like ripe blackberry, citrusy blood orange, zesty natural lime, and tart cranberry. Check out your favorite retailer in-store and online for the White Claw Surge Variety 12-pack and 16-ounce single-serve cans. White Claw Surge. Please drink responsibly.
Hi, I'm Dr. Jacob Wilco at Knoxville Smiles. Have you ever wanted to improve the look of your smile? We know firsthand what the power of a great smile means to a person's confidence and health. Our team of doctors can provide you with an array of options for helping you achieve your cosmetic goals. From simply moving teeth into a better position, to reversible cosmetic bonding, to full mouth implant-supported dentures. It is our goal to help patients feel good about their appearance while achieving optimal health. Want to learn more? Call us at 865-539-1776 to schedule an evaluation, or visit us online at knoxvillesmiles.com.
All right, back here on the Playbook. We appreciate you hanging out with us on this fine Friday, beautiful Friday from Knoxville, Tennessee. Might go home a little early today just to soak it in. Maybe go up on the top deck, get some sun. Hey, I love this time of year too because the pollen's gone, and that means I don't have to sneeze anymore and worry about it. But
you know, it also helped me. I wish they would have brought Juke in. Let him throw out the first pitch, get the juices flowing. Maybe let Rick do it. Just
bring Tony back.
Oh gosh,
get the student section to stay past the 5th inning.
Yeah, free beer night. Hey, that's what they need to do. Remember when Rice did that earlier in football season? Rice did free beer night, Garrett.
Yeah, unfortunately, their enrollment's closer to 2,000.
Yeah,
but they got to do something. $18 drinks in the stadium are pretty shameful.
If the Knoxville police ever wanted a layup for a DUI checkpoint, just do a free beer night. And
I don't even know how many students are going to come because so many finals got moved to tomorrow with that Canvas thing that happened.
What? Oh, I did see that on Twitter. That's ridiculous. On a Saturday, I would be irate.
Yeah. My buddy was supposed to go home tomorrow, and now he has to take the final at 8 a.m. on a Saturday.
Oh, yuck. Real quick, Vol Girl on the YouTube chat, or I think the Twitter chat goes, are there any relief pitchers that you feel confident in, or are we cooked for the final innings?
I feel confident in Bo Rudy. He gives up some home runs, but I think Bo Rudy's been pretty good. And then Appenzeller and Arvidsson right now are kind of, maybe they're going to be good, maybe they're not going to be good, but I feel pretty confident with Bo Rudy.
Feel confident if they stay in the bullpen as long as they can when their starters are just going.
Well, we'll table those NBA playoffs real quick. We can switch the graphic back to the Texas series. We got Roberto on the line.
Heard the call.
Yeah, he wants to talk some baseball. What's up, Roberto?
Yeah, send up the Bert signal. You know what's happening.
Yeah.
Give us some confidence, Roberto.
Do what?
Give us some confidence.
There's not a lot here, gents. I'll just say it this way. You were talking about pitching. I mean, Bo Rudy, Sean on the Tony Basilio show a couple days ago said it best. The only thing alien about that guy's fastball is when somebody hits it to the freaking moon. Okay? I'm not a big Bo Rudy guy. I'm really if we got to list disappointments this year, how about that? Let's reverse into this thing. Let's be negative so we can be positive. Who is the biggest disappointment for you guys on this baseball team? of transfers or freshmen that were supposed to be, meteoric.
I mean, it depends for me because it just depends on what month or what weekend you're talking about, honestly.
For me, it's probably Brady Frederick.
Frederick?
Yeah. I mean, I know his ERA is not like that high, but like he's just kind of, I feel like his role has kind of disappeared.
I mean,
you said Frederick, right?
He said Frederick. I think
he was conference pitcher of the year last year and came in and made us look silly. Do you guys remember that game?
Yeah. And he had a couple of early season moments that were not that were.
You would just think with that arm slot angle, like most people wouldn't be able to hit that, but I mean, he's got lit up a handful of times.
It's almost as if he doesn't get movement. I mean, if it stays flat and doesn't rise like it's supposed to, that ball's getting unloaded on every single time. And it's actually the same for Appenzeller, who I think just hit the freshman wall. And his stuff just isn't – it's good stuff, but it's not elite yet because he needs to put on about 30 pounds. He's got to get that fastball north of 91. It's got to get into the mid-90s if he's going to be effective in the SEC and beyond. But the biggest disappointment for me, you guys probably haven't even thought about, Mark Hindy, right? Like Hindy was he not all conference at Duke last year?
I believe so.
Yeah, I think, yeah.
Yeah, he can't get on the field in midweekers.
Yeah, I don't know what's happened there.
I thought he was supposed to be this mid-90s, epic cutter type pitcher, and he can't touch 90, and his curveball hangs every single time he throws it. I'm the most disappointed in him, but you guys are talking about, so we're going to talk positive though, right? So I got it off my chest.
There you go.
Thank you.
There you go. Come on.
It's a good birthday present week thing for me, guys. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
you were talking about geezers the other day. I officially became one this week. I achieved my mid-40s.
Well, happy birthday.
Well, yeah, everything started hurting all of a sudden when I started waking up this week. And it's because I watched too much of this baseball thing. But I do think that Tennessee will hit the ball pretty well. I believe I just blanked on the kid's name. It's Texas. They're superstar. Is it Volantis?
Volantis,
right?
Yes. Volantis on the mound tonight.
I mean, people seem to forget that Tennessee gave him his first loss of his career last year and shelled him in the SEC tournament.
Yeah.
So I think we have a pretty good beat on him. Then again, that means he'll probably throw a no-hitter. But I do think we're going to hit the ball well. I mean, look outside. I know you guys are in the dungeon today, but if you haven't been outside today, that ball's going to fly today.
Oh, it's beautiful outside.
The wind isn't blowing. It's a little bit warm, starting to warm up a little bit. That ball's going to fly out of that park tonight. So hopefully it's for us and not them.
Yeah.
But some positives for me, guys. I didn't realize Levi Clark had been as good as he has been in SEC play. He's hitting almost 300 in SEC play.
Yeah.
He's got 7 homers in his last 10 games.
Mm-hmm.
That is a very bright spot. I'm hoping he can carry us. And I have one more question in regard to Blaine Brown. Is it time to take him out of the field? He keeps making mistakes in the field, and it's costing us. And he can't make that up with his bat because he's not been good enough.
Yeah, well, you mentioned those transfers that have been disappointing. That was I debated that being my answer. I debated that being my answer. Now, you started the season, you thought he was going to be the second coming of Christian Moore all of a sudden with the way he looked at the plate, and then boom, I think he's a really good talent that needs some refinement. Like, he's obviously got a cannon of an arm out of the outfield.
Oh yeah,
but he's got to refine that. He's got the ability.
Is there a point? Oh, I'm sorry.
No, he's got the ability to hit the ball out of the park anytime he walks up, but he's just got to refine that. I think he's just one of those players that might be a year away from being a consistent contributor week in and week out of giving you what you can get from him, if that makes any sense.
Well, as Elander was saying, 2 weeks ago, he was in the phone booth, and he was throwing his hands through the zone, but leaving the bat in there for forever, and he was hitting in the opposite field, and he hit a couple home runs. Because he was he was intentionally trying to just make contact, not trying to turn on everything and hit it out of the ballpark, right? He's a much better hitter when he just leaves his hands in the zone all day. He has a great long swing. It's a beautiful swing, and he has a ton of power and pop when he hits it. But his problem is he gets out in front of himself and he turns on everything, as we already know.
Yeah.
But when he's not trying to do that, if he can do what he did 2 weeks ago, this week, Tennessee's going to win this series.
Yeah.
That's what I believe. And, you know, I have a bad feeling about this one, like I had a good feeling last week, which I had a bad feeling about Mississippi State and I had a great feeling about Vanderbilt. What does that tell you? I feel bad about this one.
That tells me, please hate this weekend, please.
Yeah, I think we're going 0-3. How about that?
Yeah.
But I also believe that Texas is due a stinker, and they haven't played bad this year. And if you're going to play bad, this is the place teams tend to do it, you know? So, I don't know. I'm kind of down on this team. I just want them to get to 13 and get in the tournament, keep our tournament streak alive.
Yeah.
But if they don't, and I'm going to get killed just like I did last week when I said it, if they don't make the tournament with this kind of talent, 30 wins, you know, fastest only coach in his first year to ever get 30 wins on that. If he doesn't get it, you need to treat him like an interim and seriously consider letting him go and see if he can get somebody better.
Sure.
Because that's basically, we did what we should have done with Kippy Brown, you know, back in the Kiffin years this year. And if Elander doesn't get you the tournament, you have to consider letting him go. You do have to consider it.
I would agree. I don't think that's that outlandish. I mean, obviously you want to give the guys an opportunity, but this is a really talented team.
Also, I mean, people say, well, he didn't he didn't select his team. Yeah, he did.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't select the pitchers. He damn well selected the hitters.
Yeah.
Like, that was his job. And he's literally been the recruiting coordinator for 6 years. So he knew every one of these players, knew their strengths and weaknesses, and they're not hitting.
Yeah.
You know, nobody's going to sit here and argue that the bullpen's any good. But that pitching's been good enough to win us a whole bunch of games, and the hitting let us down.
Yeah.
So that is on him. So with that said, guys, I really appreciate the time. I got long-winded, but basically, I think we're probably going 0-3 this weekend. I hate to be the bearer of bad news.
Well, there you go. That's positive for me, knowing the way things have gone. So I'll take that any day. We appreciate you calling in, Roberto. When we come back, we'll wrap things up, talk about this weekend and the NBA playoffs and my frustrations while watching that game last night. We'll break it down when we return right here on the Playbook.
Congratulations. You found sports radio that doesn't suck. This is Fan Run Radio, Knoxville.
Citizens National Bank.
Life is more fun with a Good Life account, offering extra benefits, including bank travel. Experience the trip of a lifetime to Ireland. Explore rolling green hills, historic castles, and charming villages across the Emerald Isle. Get in on the fun. Call 865-429-7935 today.
Citizens National Bank. Banking never felt so good.
Member FDIC.
Barley's has live music on weekends, general team trivia on Wednesday nights at 8 p.m., and now live sports trivia, courtesy of the Knoxville Trivia Guys, every Thursday night upstairs. The game starts at 7 p.m. and is free to play for everyone, so head on down to the Old City and show off your sports knowledge and win gift cards to Barley's. Use those gift cards to buy some delicious food and drinks, and you can take it all in with their wide selection of TVs and indoor projectors. Barley's Tap Room and Pizzeria.
A brand built in Tennessee and born from the love of the game. Inward Half revolutionizes golfing comfort. Crafted by a former pro and dedicated enthusiast just like you, our luxury performance wear guarantees you stay cool and comfortable through every swing and every day. We're not just a brand. We've set out to create a lifestyle for those who understand that impeccable style and premium performance are a hole-in-one. Enjoy the walk-in with Inward Half.
All right, wrapping things up on a Friday. We appreciate you hanging out with us today to help round out your week. As Roberto was saying, beautiful weather today, and it's starting to feel like summer. I don't know. It was somehow walking back to the car from the gas station today that made it settle in that it's summer. Well, we'll wrap it up with our final thoughts coming up here in about 13 minutes. It's The Drive with Russell Smith, Bob Baskerville, the Bear, and Walker Smith. They'll take you the rest of the way to round out your week and get you ready for that Tennessee and Texas action that tips off. Not even tips off. First pitch offs at 6:30 p.m. Eastern time on the SEC Network Plus. So kind of just an abridged version on the playoffs last night. The Pistons take it to 2-0. And Brett, I must say, I remember
I know.
I remember when we were sitting here in February at the NBA trade deadline, and I said, James Harden is not a guy I consider a playoff performer or one that I would consider trading away a young asset away for to try and win playoff games now. What does James Harden give you? Well, last night, it was another ridiculously bad performance. Donovan Mitchell did his thing. I'll give him that. But James Harden was horrible. Turning the ball over, dominating possessions with just dribbling.
Dribble. Yeah.
He's got more turnovers than field goals, right, this series?
Yeah. He's always been a no-go for me after the first round of the playoffs. Last night was an example. The Cavs over the last couple of years have been a no-go after the first round for me in the playoffs. And when you add those two together, I mean, Jared Allen and Evan Mobley were bad game one. Now you get James Harden looking like, he's
James Harden, right?
45 last night. And he's I mean, when you're going up against a Cade Cunningham, a really nimble defender, in addition to all the other things he does on the offensive end, you can't create much space. And those little James Harden traveling step backs, those days are long gone. From being able to pull off on a guy like Cunningham. Now, this very easily could be a series where it goes 7 games.
Lost at home.
I know. And that John was texting me last night the same thing. But I texted him. I go, hey, James Harden.
For the Pistons is our guy, Tobias.
Well, I know. But Cunningham's been great too.
Yeah, but he's not having to shoulder the scoring load right now. Last 3-4 games, Tobias is averaging 20 plus. If you're going to get that as the Pistons.
Well, Cunningham's averaging 31 in his last 7.
I know, but 25 and 10 last night. And he only took 13 shots. That means he's getting the help that we talk about so often that, I know we'll talk about the Lakers that Braun's not getting, you know, and things like that. So, but yeah, you're right. Harden was pitiful last night. No doubt about it. He's the reason they lost. No doubt about it.
I just think it's so funny every year.
Normally it's just the Western Conference Finals or Eastern Conference Final, whatever it is. It's not normally in the semifinals. Normally it's when it's the bigger, even bigger stage is when he's been bad.
I go back to Philly and Boston in Game 7.
Because he was bad in Houston.
23.
They were up on Golden State, I think.
Well, they were up on Golden State, but I mean, go back to him when he was in Philadelphia.
You can go back whenever you want with Harden.
Well, I know. That's what I'm saying. But
yeah.
when it really struck rock bottom for me in terms of this is a guy I can no longer trust was Philadelphia. They were up 3-2, and they lost back-to-back games because Harden was pitiful. And in Game 7, he had like 11 turnovers.
I thought what their coach said, Atkinson said after the game was odd too. He was like, it's on me. We got to get Harden the ball more. I was like,
How about cuss right there? I disagree with that so much. Hell, he had the ball 20 seconds out of the 24 half the time. What do you mean get him the ball more?
Yeah.
So that is one thing. I love the NBA. I love good basketball. I love the finals last year. I thought it was competitive. I thought it was a lot of fun. You had a lot of different characters, deep benches. It was great. But I cannot watch the Thunder anymore. It just infuriates me.
Change the team name.
The Oklahoma. I mean,
it's all of them.
I haven't been that frustrated watching a game since watching those Curry Durant Warriors teams, where it's just like you can't do anything. But those
that
teams,
was ethical.
That was ethical. Well, maybe Durant going there wasn't ethical, but those teams,
the way they played,
I know. But the way they played, they made shots that no one else on the court could. It happens. The Thunder, it just drives me up a wall to see how many times they are complaining, how many times there is a ticky-tack foul. And the Lakers fall into it, too, in terms of the complaining. I just hate watching half the game.
But they had legit arguments.
I agree. But as a viewer, you're watching NBA basketball for the game. And I've got a review right here, a complaint here. It's just like so it's.
Well, JJ was so fed up with it. He challenged a flop bike hole.
I know.
Which was
God, it's acting like it hit in the mouth.
Had you ever seen the double foul that they called in the fourth quarter?
No. Yeah, that was LeBron made a shot.
Oh, I know.
Continuation.
Oh, I know.
And they said it was on the floor.
I know.
It's LeBron James.
I know.
There's another one. He got crushed under the basket. Nothing. And then I think Mitchell went down the lane. Thero went straight up, and he initiated the contact. He made the basket. Like, play on. Like, don't call that.
That comboed with McCain spraying a bunch of threes.
Oh my gosh, yes.
McCain.
18 minutes, 18 points.
McCain.
Ridiculous.
It's just, but also just watching the Thunder team, it's like, I mean, like the subs are in, the bench guys are in. And it's like 3 guys that were in the rotation throughout the night. Like Isaiah Joe and Aaron Wiggins. And
Take the big Williams. He flopped on one, too. They gave him a 4-point
Kendrick
play.
Williams.
Laravia went right past him. No, Jalen Williams, I think.
Jalen Williams.
The long-haired dude.
Yeah,
hit a couple
Jalen
of
Williams.
threes.
Yeah.
Oh.
He was at Arkansas.
The Lakers were up like 5, and then they just started calling fouls on him. They're like, Shea's off the floor because of foul trap. But they kept calling these flops.
Third quarter has been very costly for the Lakers in game 1 and 2.
The Lakers can't play much better. I like how they're throwing the doubles at Shea, getting out of his hands. These guys are just making shots.
The offense was better last night for LA. I thought that was an improvement from game 1.
Reeves was way better.
And Reeves was better.
He was a little out of control at times. He had like 6-7 turnovers.
Yes, but I just thought they looked more in sync than they did game 1. Game 1 it was kind of all over the place. I want to give the Lakers a chance. You go back at home and play in Crypto.com Arena.
I do. I think I do. I think LeBron's playing well.
I don't know if they can do this for 7 games though.
Well, you don't. You do it for one at a time.
Is OKC supposed to get the other Jalen Williams back?
He's week to week, and they can bring they can basically bring him out.
I'm to the point where I just wish Luka would go out there and just see what he can do. Like, this is it. Do it game 3.
Well,
if you get hurt, you got the whole offseason to get better. There's no Euro tournaments. There's none.
You
don't
see
even
that
play
cushion
in those.
he was sitting on last night.
How long's it been? It's been
They've
like
got him
8
a
weeks.
recliner. Well, Luka's kind of a what?
OG Anunoby's probably going to play tonight. Like, he's got a right hamstring injury.
Ant's fighting through it.
Exactly. We got Ric Flair out here calling him out. It is kind of frustrating. He's over there smiling. He seems fine.
He's a millionaire. That's the thing. I mean, look, he did all that work in the offseason to look much better, and he had a great season.
Maybe we can't tell if he gets hurt. I don't know.
But, it's easy for William Patterson to sit here and say, sitting in a chair in Knoxville, to get his ass off the bench and go play. But your season's on the line, bud. I mean, what do you waste? You played all year for this opportunity, and they clearly need him. Now, my worry with a possible return from him was what the Lakers looked like when Reeves returned. And it was kind of he won 100%. Like, it's going to take him 2 or 3 games to get back into full rhythm.
Would Luka's offense be enough to negate what he doesn't give you on defensive end?
And also with Vando too.
The way the Lakers are running double teams, like, that's going to wear him down for this series too. Like,
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to continue to be able to run around and get the ball to Shea's hands. But I'm interested in game 3.
Kyle Beach says the Lakers have a 0% chance to win 1 game in this series. It's over.
Don't doubt the GOAT.
I'll be tuning in on Saturday night.
Yeah.
Appointment television. My
Absolutely.
only plans
Get
this
your
weekend
popcorn.
are that.
Yeah, popcorn ready. So do you think the Sixers win tonight or Knicks?
What's the status on Embiid?
I don't know. They played better without him, didn't they?
Well, yeah, but
I'm more interested in Anunoby.
They need him. They need him to play. Because then you're relying on playoff.
Okay, so if he plays, they'll win. If he doesn't, they'll lose. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
And what's the other one?
And then
your mini men.
Mini men.
What are they doing?
Questionable.
Questionable.
Mini men winning at home?
I think they're a big underdog tonight.
Yeah, 4.5. Philly's a 1.5, so it kind of tells me maybe he's playing.
Yeah.
As well. So
I'd go Philly and give me Minnesota. I don't know why the books still don't give respect to Minnesota. I guess it's just because of the Anthony Edwards kind of question mark. He played 24 minutes, you say?
Yeah, 25.
25 minutes?
Yeah, and that was a blowout. So
Kyle Beach says the Sixers. Garrett, your picks for tonight and I guess the Lakers Thunder game 3.
I would go Knicks and Spurs. And then I think the Lakers will win 1 in LA. I don't know if they're going to get 2.
I got Lakers on Saturday.
Okay. It wouldn't be bad if Jared McCain had a bad injury this weekend. Is that crazy to
See the
say?
TikTok guy?
Yeah.
Dances.
God, he drives me up a wall. Man. All of them do.
And baseball. Well, we'll see what happens.
We'll see. That's gonna wrap it up for wrap it up. I'm laughing while I say it. That's gonna wrap it up.
You're flopping in the show.
I know. That's gonna wrap it up for a Friday edition of the Playbook. We appreciate you hanging out with us. Coming up next is The Drive on Fan Run Radio.